Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Christian with Super Trucker Podcast, Voyager Nation, bringing to you trucking topics. That's what we do. That's what we talk about. It's for owner operators and obviously owner operators to be. Wealth of information here. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out that Super Trucker Podcast for those who are not subscribed, and hit that bell icon. It'll get you plenty of good information. All right, guys, here we go. It's Monday. So let's see anybody on there. Here we go. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. It is Christian with Super Trucker Podcast, Voyager Nation, bringing to you trucking topics live every morning, 9 a.m., Monday to Friday. That's how we do it. Make sure you guys put the comments, questions, anything that you want to talk about. Good morning, brother. How are you this morning? So again, guys, this is all about getting information out there for owner operators to be and current owner operators. It's a pretty sweet platform. It enables us to discuss options and discuss topics so that everybody can learn from each other. That's the name of the game right here. So let me see real quick. I forgot my mic. All right. So it is Monday, my people. That being said, hopefully everybody right now is getting unloaded, waiting on their reload. Again, your Monday started on Friday. So if your dispatcher is not taking care of you in that way, and you're not pre-booked, you got to give us a call at 863-342-5171. We'll be glad to help you out with something like that. All right, so again, what we do for those who are new to the channel, we just gather questions from around our social media platforms that we have, which is Super Trucker Podcast on YouTube. Check that channel out. Subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have we're pretty much I guess everywhere in that regard. And so what we're doing there is just gathering up all the questions because it's you guys asking and we're delivering the answers. All right, so one of them, one of these two, and also what we do, guys, is take our experiences and share them so that everybody learns from each other in this type of environment. One of the things that we're going through right now, guys, just be careful out there. Be careful with these brokers. What happens when brokers are going broke? Boom. So I never want to see anybody get hurt. That's the purpose of this channel, is to always share our type of information, share the daily struggles that we go through, and just talk about them and get them out there, right? So we got these guys, Wagon LLC, right? So we book a load with them. We check credit, everything looks good, and then only to get this love letter that it's a business winding down and dissolution. And what they're pretty much telling you, to be able to book a load, you actually have to you have to submit the proof of claim, and there's going to be a bunch of creditors in line to get money. So I don't even know if we're going to see anything. One of the things, or a tactic that probably guys are doing out there, is filing against the bond. And then again, does that even work? Because what's the limit on the bond? I think it's about 75 grand or something like that. And then not just that, their bond's expired already. So that's not even an option right there. So guys, put it in the comments. What kind of experiences do you have? How do you work with your factoring company to help identify these kind of things? Are you even doing that? So that's what we're doing today. So for those who are first-time owner operators, or owner operators planning on getting their own authority and all of that, and a lot of this stuff was being handled for you, which is a benefit, right? But at the same time, this is a very real part of the business, and that's why we like to talk about it and share our experiences, even though not all of them are going to be pleasant. And some of these things are like, what are the warning signs that you can tell that a broker is pretty much in trouble? So I lean on you guys. What are some of the things that you look for? Before I just jump into things that we are looking for. All right. Well, some of the biggest things are slow pay trends. that's one of the things that you can look for. And the way you can look at that is your factoring company has, can work with you on that. So typically 30 to 45 days, let's say. If all of a sudden they start increasing and start going further and further and further, that's gonna be a sign right there of problems, right? So you want to pay attention to that. Even though the rate might be right, the load is perfect, the owner operator loves the load, the driver loves that work, and you fall into this level of like you want to trust. Ah man, but here we go. There was actually two loads in question, and one actually got paid. And I guess I just got lucky on that one load got paid, and now I got this. It's actually an $1,100 load that did not get paid. So part of the process, what we do here, part of the process of what we're doing here and what we're experiencing is the following. So so there's a couple things, right? Our owner operator isn't responsible for this, right? My dude got paid 45 days ago for this load. So that's how we do it at Voyager Nation. And the reason being is because that's embedded in the process, and that's in the product that we're giving our owner operators, right? It's our due diligence. He did nothing wrong. He would never have known any of this because we're responsible for it. So that's one thing that you got to keep in mind. But if you're one man army and you're doing it all for yourself, this can easily affect you big time, because this is going to be an underpayment somewhere along the line in your journey, right? So you want to be paying attention to this, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Put this information in front of people, owner operators to be. We just put information out there that will help benefit your business and the way you structure it. So like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon. We got videos that drop Monday to Friday after 5 o'clock. Pretty good content right there. Wealth of information for you. All right. Another thing is sudden drop in available loads from them. So that's another sign, right? Because what's happening, a lot of customers are going to start pulling back, probably because they started getting complaints and all of that. And, but sometimes this stuff could be hard to tell depending how big your operation is and depending, how often you use them. So you would have to know some kind of trend as to how many loads they were doing on a daily or on a weekly basis to know that if they even had a drop. High number of complaints, right, on DAT. Carrier 411 or credit checks and services. So, doing your due diligence. There's tons of information online now. And again, it could be taxing, right? Because it just depends on how big your operation is. You're stuck in being effective in booking this load and moving the truck and being efficient. And if you're a one-man army, sometimes cutting corners in order to get that truck moving is what we're doing. And what I mean cutting corners is basically on something like this, right? Because what we're doing here is the following. We're trying to get that truck moving. We're doing all of our due diligences here, but that's what a dispatcher does in our world, right? That's the product. He's doing or she is doing all it is for you, all this back office stuff. That needs to happen regardless if you're doing it for yourself or if the carrier is doing it for you. So again, guys, this is another also reason to leverage leasing onto someone because these things do happen and you want to be careful. All right. And never put your eggs all in one basket, because if everything was with this guy, you'd be in a world of hurt. All right. And as we go to the next one, just guys, a friendly reminder out there, make sure you got your medical card straight. We did talk about this on Friday. So if you have recently updated your medical card, especially if you're out of Florida, double check that you're not pending a suspension. I know they are 2 to 3 weeks behind, so you don't want to fall victim to that and then end up getting put out of service or something crazy like that due to clerical issues on their behalf. So if you've recently updated that medical card, double check with the Florida DMV to make sure that you're not pending a suspension. And if you are, you want to make sure that you go in person and get that updated. Remember, we understand how it should flow, but at the end of the day, the process is the punishment, and because you got to live through that process, your business could get hurt. All right. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check us out on Super Trucker Podcast. plenty of content there. We also are all over social media, but please like, share, and subscribe, and smash that like button. All right, guys. So as we're talking this broker horror story, has anybody else out there? How much have you lost? What are some tips you guys have in order to protect ourselves? So let's share those ideas amongst each other to see what we could do to make sure that we stay ahead of the game. All right. Protecting yourself. All right. Always check their credit score and days to pay average. So, the factoring company does a pretty nice job with that. And I would also say, if you have a concern, maybe even talking to the rep from your factoring company, because they do have access to other tools that we're probably not privy to. As a matter of fact, they do. And then they can probably do some behind the scenes, even if it's kind of unofficial dialogue and all of that. They can, just let me know if I should stay away, pick a different broker, or what are you seeing on other accounts? Because, the credit score for you may be a little bit different than of that broker for you than somebody else. So you want to pick their brain, you want to use your resources. And as a matter of fact, you're paying the factoring company to be this person. So why not put them to good use and use them they're in your back pocket as a resource anyway. All right. And also set your own internal cutoff. You have to have that hard line of when you're going to pull away. And so this one here can be a little complicated, especially as you get bigger, and not just that, like if what your needs are, right? So if you're stuck somewhere in a certain market, you're trying to move your trucks, or you are you're moving yourself, and even the dispatchers, it gets a little bumpy. And now we think that that's the only load available. So the only piece that's wrong about this equation or this actual load is, they got a lot of money their credit is not as great. But that's a big to-do factor. So part of our thing is when we're looking for loads, these guys are running credit immediately while you're on the load, because if there's no credit, there's no need to be negotiating any kind of rates or anything like that. So you want to be paying attention to that, right? You want to get that discipline in as they're answering the phone. Boom, you're running that MC. You're checking the credit on the spot. So if you have to pull away, you can. All right. So that's just one of the little tricks of the trade, and it's kind of like, man, this kind of shit happens. It does happen, man. Like, I don't know if you guys remember back when Convoy went down, man, they left a lot of people owing money, man. So you never know. And the idea is to not become a victim of that. Again, like, am I making a big deal out of this, even though it's just $1,100? Yeah, you got to be diligent and vigilant about this stuff, because if not, that adds up really, really quick, right? Because how long can you bill zero but pay out $1,100? Right? It's not, your business won't last too long. So we just shared bumps and bruises along the way. I actually have we have two other lows that we filed against the claim. So hopefully that's in on time. And even, we filed against the bond, but even when you do file against the bond, you're going to get pennies on the dollar, right? Because you're not the only one doing that. So that's a total loss, but I guess something is better than nothing. So guys, this industry does come with some of this stuff. As we always say, it's an expensive sport to play, and it's more than just rate per mile. There's a lot of this kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that is pretty much back office stuff. All right, so again, guys, we're looking for you to share, like, subscribe, put your comments up. What are your horror stories? What are some tactics that you do that we should be doing as well, so we learn from each other? That's what this platform is about. Let us know in the comments. And again, what we do is we gather questions from across our social media and then answer them live Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. live and direct. So it's pretty much like having a live recruiter for those who are looking for a good place to put their truck. We are always looking for quality owner operators. We're looking for that business partner. So if you do have questions, 863-342-5171, give us a call, and we'll be glad to take care of you. All right. Dealing with dispatchers, what works, what doesn't. So guys, what are some of, I wonder who's in there. Got 4 people on that YouTube who self-dispatch. Are you self-dispatch, or you have a dispatcher? What's the better way to go? What is your opinion? I know we have ours and mine, I guess. But what's your opinion? You know, one of the biggest things is how to communicate effectively with your dispatcher. Is I think that that comes from the level of trust, right? It's going to start with understanding that they understand the market and they understand more than rate per mile. For example, even trying to convey something like this, your dispatcher is looking for the credit, is looking not to put anybody in harm's way. So that's why they have a do not use list of certain brokers. They may have their own personal do not use list because it didn't go well. And what they're trying to do is not limit the amount of people that they could work with, but what they're really trying to do is protect their owner operator. Because what happens is when you allow yourself to work with this, right, and you have the same problem over and over, the owner operator at some point is not going to understand that it's the broker canceling the load on you, right? That may fly once or twice, but at some point it's going to feel like the dispatcher's not doing their job. So if a broker it starts to develop a history and their character becomes less than ideal for a business relationship, that dispatcher may just not work with them. And another dispatcher may have a pretty good relationship with someone internal where that rep just treated a little bit different. It happens. They may be willing to roll some dice, but that just depends on their experience. So again, communication with your dispatcher is, why are we not using this guy? And then he'll tell you, hey, it's either they got no credit or this or that, or they burnt me in the past. And so when it does hit the fan and it's time to resolve an issue, they're not going to be able to help us. So this is why we're not using them. So guys, communication is everything. I think that's one of the biggest things that we talk about on this show is just having real business talk and discussing why we do certain things. All right. What to do when the dispatcher pushes a bad load? All right, let me get my fix here before we answer that. So, what do you guys do when somebody pushes you a bad load? Come on, I need some interaction here. I got 7 people in that chat, only three likes. Please smash like that, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm put this in front of the right people. All right, so what to do if a dispatcher pushes bad load? So there we go. We say no. There we go. I woke somebody up. Here we go, guys. Um, There you go. What's a bad load? That's another good one. So, hey, communication, because it may not necessarily be a bad load depending on your situation. So here we go. Like there is no in my mind, like this you will normally see on a lot of guys who are trying to get out of Florida, right? And then it is not a bad load because that load that is getting you out of Florida, positioning you to, pardon me, to a really good market, and at a really good time. That's what, and it puts you now in the playing, and it puts you in a great place for the week. So you're setting the tone up for the week. And that load isn't so bad. We don't necessarily are going to look at it just load by load. We got to see the whole week holistically. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things that we have to be doing. And again, that's going to be in the communication with your dispatcher. And it cannot be an argument about who's right. But again, it's just open communication, doing good business and negotiating and making a good deal and being open-minded as to why is this person viewing value in this load that they're offering, instead of just no, hey, why do you think this is a good idea? What's the plan? What are we trying to do? I mean, if you ask that and you got awkward silence, then you're in the bad spot. You're actually in the wrong place. You got to give us a call at 863-342-5171. You got to change that real quick before your business suffers any more damage. But if they are asked, they come up with the answer like, hey, listen, I really see that this market is picking up. So I've done some, I had your truck posted in this market. I'm getting calls back. I know I can get this higher rate per mile coming from here to here. And I know I can position us for the week at this financial goal. So now you're talking. Now you got a guy with a plan. So now you want to link your plan up to theirs, and then boom, that's what that communication should be about. It should never be about somebody begging you to take a load. It should never be about you begging to go to a certain area. That's not even business talk. That's just I don't even know what that is, but it shouldn't be about that. All right. The difference between company dispatchers and independent dispatchers. So that's for us, that's a major one. One of the things that we're doing that we do with that for us, our dispatchers, you get a dedicated dispatcher, and I think the biggest thing that you have to consider and the greater value to it for you is they own everything. They're gonna own it from A to Z, the entire process. Every single reload is part of their plan. How they move you around that week. Once the settlement comes in, what that plan yielded you financially, they're responsible. They're not going anywhere. They are right there to face you when you get your settlement check, and that is a direct reflection of their idea, right? Provided you guys have good communication. What I think about those independent dispatchers, it's kind of like kicking the can down the road, right? It's wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Um, they're never really responsible for what your next reload's going to be. They're just moving you because they got to move you, let's say. And if you get in a tight market, you might call another independent dispatcher and they got you the other load. So this one is just kind of like they're there helping, but there's no accountability. And when too many people are helping and no one's accountable, nothing gets done. That's the freaking problem, right? So you want to make sure that you got one person accountable, and then that's what we do. That's our service. All of our guys are leased onto us. There are no company trucks to compete with here, so nobody has to suffer through that. We are 100% owner operator based. We're always looking for good owner operators to join the team. If you're looking around, hey, give us a call, 863-342-5171. We got a recruiter on standby willing to share all the details of what we do. So here we go. All right. Should I dispatch? Should you dispatch yourself or as an owner operator? I think if you're going to dispatch yourself, yeah, I mean that's always a possibility if you've done it before. Um, so it just depends on somebody's capacity and if they have experience doing so. And that's going to be up to the individual, and everybody has to know their limitations of what they can do and what they can't. Your business does depend on that, so that would be up to you if you can do something like that. Now I would say if somebody's never done it before, it's not that you can't, but there is an ability to learn and just get a learning curve, right? So based on that learning curve, you actually just link up with somebody that's willing to teach you as well, right? Pay attention to the details, why they're moving certain ways. Another thing I would say is pay attention to that rate confirmation, right? Why is that dispatcher having them revise a rate con? What are some of the tactics to do so? How they got certain things that are too predatory removed off of that freight guard, or rather not freight guard, but Raycon. So not every Raycon is built the same. So you got to be able to sift through it and see what the hell is way too aggressive towards you, because man, some of them bad boys want to take so much money off of the line haul just off of insignificant things. Like if a guy's late, regardless of the reason, you could do everything right. Trucking's gonna happen. You're sending in the paperwork. From a breakdown, you're even being proactive, you're being transparent, you're showing them all of that, and at the end of the day, they're still gonna deduct that fine. So you got to be careful with that. You want somebody to teach you the trick of the trade, and what you do is you surround yourself with people who are doing it and absorb how they're doing it, and now you're teaching yourself and you're asking all the right questions. So here we go. That's the way you could you can get this done self-taught. I see a lot of people jump on that YouTube to or take those courses to do dispatching. Nothing against that. Pretty cool. However, a lot of that stuff is theoretical. When people go to those, how to dispatch and stuff like that, I'm more of a learning the trenches, because you get the real deal. Even when we hire, let's say, a dispatcher from the broker side, it sounds like it would be an easy transition, but man, it's just it's not for everybody, and it's kind of like we were saying about the independent dispatcher. One of the biggest things for them is actually when they were on the broker side, right? They're just getting the load booked, and there's no real attachment other than the guy showing up on time. They don't care if the guy, went through violations, got, anything like that. Um, they just ensure that he's on time. But even if he got violation from DOT, out of service, all of that, and it affects their CSA score, they just won't work with them later on if they have too many alerts. So when these broker people, come to this side of the dispatch, now booking that load is going to be very, very intimate, man. Like everything that happens from A to Z, and what that driver and decisions are being made, and breakdowns, accidents, hours of service, all of that, it's under our authority. And so it's a lot more intimate, and a lot of people never saw that. Like, they didn't calculate for that, right? They were doing like kind of this final sale. So has anybody out there been a broker, and you crossed over to the dispatch, or let us know a little bit about, what the difference was for you, and how you dealt with that, and was it a culture shock? So put that up in the comments, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you get tons of videos coming to you. We drop them every day, Monday to Friday after 5 o'clock. All right, so the way we pay is basically 75% of the gross revenue goes to the owner op. So that 25% is going to be what we charge. And what that does, though, it encompasses everything. It's a very transparent, straightforward agreement. And what it's going to do, it includes that cargo and that liability. And the reason that we're doing it that way is because it's a benefit to the owner operator. This thing was built by an owner operator, for owner operators. That's what Voyager Nation does. One of the biggest things when you go on per mile, and I mean, I see it to this day when guys are jumping around and so forth and come here and stuff like that. There's certain places right now still paying, $1.80 all miles, and that's what they'll do. So then it becomes about the miles, right? But what if you can get some short hops that make really good sense, and pay really good? So for example, you can do $1,200 on 300 miles, right? Just because you got unloaded early, and this does happen. So now we have the ability to adapt and squeeze that load in. Another thing too, why we don't do per mile is, so for example, we do have guys that have fleet drivers with us, and then the benefit, like just that as an example, that 300-mile run, that driver is not going to want it because he's getting paid per mile. However, the fleet owner, that's a pretty good load. So in order to do that, it's always going to be based on percentage. So that's why we do that percentage, and it keeps everything clean because we give original rate confirmation. So everybody out there is getting the original rate con directly forwarded from the email. So you get to review that ASAP, live as it's happening, as it's going. So here we go. So that is why we do it, because of transparency. All right. How to set boundaries with a bad dispatcher? I wonder what drums that question. So what makes this individual think that he has a bad dispatcher? Number one, I just want to make sure that it wasn't somebody that is like pretty much saying like, this guy won't listen to me. And I hope that they have communication between each other, because that's the thing. Not necessarily do you want somebody just agreeing with you, because it doesn't mean, none of us know everything, right? So that's what you don't want to happen. Yeah, you want the ability to have those business discussions. Remember, like, why is this guy sending me to this area? And ask him, hey, why are you sending me to this spot? What's your thought process? What's the end goal for the week? What is it that you're seeing that I'm not, right? So if you're not asking those questions and you just want a yes, sir, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad dispatcher. However, if you are asking all of these questions and nobody's answering, nobody's paying attention, then yeah, you're in the wrong hands. That's definitely for sure. All right. Knowing when to find a better dispatcher, it's exactly that. When nobody is answering those questions, when nobody is paying attention and listening to you and getting the right answers, and week after week after week, nothing is changing. And not because of your end, as long as you're doing your part, and nothing is changing because they're sending you to the same areas. They're just accepting low-hanging fruit. then nothing is moving in the right direction for you. So those are the things that you want to pay attention for. All right. And once again, guys, I know some people are jumping in a little bit later. However, make sure if you have a medical card and it just got renewed, make sure you are jumping on with Florida DMV. Double check that you are not pending a suspension. You don't want to get caught out there. So make sure you double check on that. They are running like 2 to 3 weeks behind. So pay attention to that. Make sure you have a copy of it with you so that if anything does happen, you're ready to rock and roll and you got some answers right in front of you. So that's just a friendly reminder out there. And also, guys, like, share, subscribe, drop the questions there, and make sure you hit that bell icon. 5 o'clock, Monday to Friday, we drop videos after 5. So here we go. All right. So what else we had right here? What was this guy? So talking about those boundaries, one of the guys was mentioning, right, the home time and all of that. So how do you guys pick your home time? Is it because one of the things is here. So what we do is we're gonna, when, for example, we have orientation going on today, right? So the person is gonna let us know. They're gonna talk to the dispatch, the operations manager. They're gonna discuss how they're gonna run and how their home time is gonna look like, right? So that in combination with what type of settlement and what type of money they're looking for, all of that has to be in the same conversation, because if somebody wants to be home every night, that financial outcome looks very different than the guy who's going to be out there for 4 or 5 weeks, or even a guy who's coming home every weekend, every other weekend. All of that should be part of the very same conversation because they are very much connected and very much relevant. So you should never really separate those two conversations so that you know exactly where you stand and what the game plan is to be successful. And then at that point, everybody's just working the plan and making the money. All right. So here we go. And then that's what we do. Like I said before, that 25% is including the cargo and the liability. We do provide a trailer. The trailers are 23s, 22s, and 21s. So all top of the line equipment. We do have a trailer mechanic who works on site. And the beauty about that is that, those are his babies. Or, if you ever run into a problem and the guys are local here, for example, we had a guy who did a 34, dropped the trailer here, did his home time, comes right in on Monday morning. The trailer's ready to go, turn and burn. And then there you go. He never had to have downtime because of a trailer issue. So it's about focusing on the things that we can control, and becoming better and more, becoming diligent at managing those type of problems. And that's the idea behind it. And again, it comes with communication. So my guy was able to send some pictures to his dispatcher to communicate with the safety that his tire had irregular wear and tear. So boom. So all of that was calculated. All of that was part of the process. And that's what we do here, guys. So if you're looking for a good place, a quality carrier owner, a quality carrier, please give us a call at 863-342-5171. If you are an owner operator looking for a better place to be, give us a call. All right. So, so I know as we started this podcast, man, anybody else ever have a horror story, or was anybody ever successful against filing against a bond? Let us know in the comments. How does that go? Whether, is it more effective if the broker is bigger, smaller? What was your experience? Let us know in the comments. We're just looking for alternative ways to always make sure that we're getting paid, and how to identify those brokers that are going out of business. So you don't want to get caught up and have tons of money owed to you. And it does happen, my people. I've seen people, come to the table here with, being owed $30,000. So I get it. Sometimes it escalates to those situations. Unfortunately, chain of events. And again, not knowing when to cut the cord was probably the biggest problem. Them going out of business is kind of things that happen in the industry. Identifying it is strategic. So pay attention to that, guys. I never want to see people get hurt. And again, learning from each other. So if anybody can drop in the comments what they've done, if they've done to kind of forecast this, please let us know. All right. So I'm open to some questions. Go ahead. This is for owner operators to be and owner operators. Let's go. I know last week we covered some lease to purchases, SFI in particular, on what they might be looking for. So, has anybody else got alternatives to SFI for other owner operators to explore and possibly get their first truck? All right. So, then you got some other guys like mentioning, are factoring companies even worth it? So I think they are. I mean, especially when you're going to hit the road and hit the road hard, and you're looking to scale your business at some point. It's rather than they do a lot for you. They're managing that. You're running credit, and of course, you got to use their resources and so forth. Running the credit is one of the major things right there. They're doing pretty much. They are your billing department. They're going through all that. So yes, you're going to have to work with them and all of that. But again, the factoring company does help shield you and gives you the resources to avoid working with those shady brokers and so forth. Because if they don't have credit, guys, don't do it. It's not worth it. You're not going to win in the end. So you do have to pay attention to that. All right. What are some other things that you guys gone through? Um, all right. So David asked, what percentage is fair? Obviously, our percentage is fair, 25-75 split. That's pretty much industry split. Especially, I think what you got to ask yourself, what makes it fair is what are you getting with that, and what are you getting with that 25%? Yeah, there's going to be competitors out there that maybe you got to give them 10%. But what comes with that 10%? What are all the side deductions in order to do business? And then that's really what you have to compare is what is it that you're getting, not just the surface level percentage. Because I have seen people, you know, uh, get attracted to the 10%, but once you start to see all the weekly deductions that come along with that kind of number, you always end up in a. It's never really 10%. There's just no way to do business like that for anyone. So really, it's what you're getting for that makes that number fair. That's really the breakdown of what you should be doing. So, for an example, you're getting free parking for truck and trailer, access to two different fuel cards, where both cards are actually pushing 100% of the savings right to the owner operator. So there's money back to you right there. All you really got to do is make sure you're downloading both apps, make sure you're using them diligently, and they teach you how to do that in orientation. Um, Access to the quality equipment, all the trailers, the newer trailers that are well maintained, so that you're never getting rejected at a customer because of a trailer. That's value right there. Being able to understand that you can swap out a trailer in the event there's some kind of part missing to it. Um, so so the value is that you never stop running, right? There's not a lack of equipment. It's not like we're going to go put you on power only loads and then have all that deadhead and all that unnecessary ineffective solution for you. So everything that you get, the safety team behind you, ELD, part of the package deal, there's no additional deduction for that. So that's another value add to you. There is access to a plate program if you needed it. If not, they'll show you and walk you through getting your own plate. So a lot of guys who have thought about getting their own plate but think it's a lot more complicated than it is, not necessarily. We show you how to get that done. Walk over to Morningstar, and Eileen will get you going. 863-342-5171. Give us a call. We'll walk you through that process. Also stop by. We're 3180 Mulford Road, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Come on through. We're always willing to share. So here you go. Another value add is also you're getting that dedicated dispatcher. That's a tremendous amount of resources for you in order for your business to thrive. So remember, like, the beauty about that, you definitely want somebody that dedicated, because you have somebody that is accountable, and that is the key, right? Even if it becomes after hours, that person is always available to you 24/7. So they always know how to fix your problem. They know exactly where you are, what you're going through, and they're helping manage your business. So that right there is a tremendous value for you. and it's so much better than those after hours where you have to relive everything that you've gone through just to get a guy on the phone who doesn't know how to find you an answer. So you don't want to be in that position. So slow and steady is going to win that race. You want an effective team that knows and has been in trucking and are well seasoned in order to keep you moving. So pay attention to those things. Those are what makes the 25% fair. What are some of the things that these people have to offer you? In addition, we have the maintenance program. You can actually put away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, depending how aggressive you want to be. Stack up that maintenance fund. It's monumental to your business. So whether you're doing it on your own or you got some kind of program like this to assist you through that, it doesn't really matter which one you go with, as long as something is getting stashed in order for you to be able to have some money when there's a breakdown. So that's part of just being doing good business as a business owner. So a business owner operator. So pay attention to those details as well. And that's what we got going on. So guys, give us a call, 863-342-5171. In addition, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, share this content with other individuals. We definitely appreciate that. It helps the algorithm, the algorithm push forward. Do you guys offer Easy Pass or Pre-Pass? Most of our guys have the pre-pass. So a couple things. Once they onboard, they do it on their own. We just help them through the application as well. So if you're buying a new truck, you gotta just kind of wait, I believe, till you have the original the plate number, because they're going to need that. They won't be able to do it on some kind of template. So either you're buying your own plate, you have that pre-pass. We give you the information, DOT, and guys set it up. That way you're solid as an owner operator. It's always yours. You never got to give it back. You would just update the information on it. And so then it's always available to you. So we can help you fill out the app on how to get it. But all of our guys get their own to make sure that, that they can manage the business accordingly. So, yep. We walk all of our guys through that. All right. What else we got here, man? So, all right, so you're always gonna have pros and cons with leasing on to individuals. Good morning. Do you have steady freight? Yep, there's always steady freight. Again. So we even going through orientation right now. There's always freight. That's never the issue. It's always going to be about the communication with the dispatcher and where you're willing to go and not go. So that's the market trends that are out there, right? The seasonalities of things, and it's volatile, and we all know that. So how do you run? Are you OTR? What's your game plan? Do you have a financial goal every single week, and that's what you're chasing? Because we could do that. Our guys will go chase that money. It doesn't matter. If you tell them, hey, for whatever reasons, let's just pick a number out of the air, $7,200 is my goal this week. They're going to find those loads that are going to accumulate to that 7,200. No one's asking if you like to go to Ohio, Chicago, none of that. You sent them on a mission to make the 7,200, and then that's what they're going to put together. That's what they're piecing together. I have other type of guys that are going to say, hey, I love to run this region. So some of the guys that love to run a certain region, okay, we'll do that. We will definitely max out whatever we can within that region, and then that's not a problem. Some guys require more home time than other people. So there's always steady freight. It's always just about adaptability to ensure that your truck stays moving. So that's what we do. And again, it comes down to communication. It comes down to dispatcher educating about what they're seeing in the out there and moving your truck accordingly to make sure that we're hitting all those goals. So, yep, for sure. Give us a call, 863-342-5171. All right. So what else we got, guys? Anybody out there on this getting loaded or unloaded? And, hopefully you're already out of Florida for those who are in Florida or on your way out. So, one of the things you do not want to be doing, obviously, is waiting till Tuesday, because then, it's going to set your week back. So don't get caught up with that. So make sure you're pushing forward. Guys, like, share, subscribe. put this content in front of fellow owner operators and or owner operators to be. It's important. All right, guys. So make sure you're getting them 2290s in as well. I know those are coming up finally due without getting that penalty. So keep an eye on that. And for my people who just joining, don't forget, if you got that medical card, double check. Make sure you are not pending a suspension. You don't want to get caught up. So make sure that you have a copy of your medical card. Make sure you're asking. So if you are about to go get your medical card, at the clinic, make sure that you ask for your copy. So there is a new process in place. However, not everything is as smooth as it's not going as smooth as it should. So don't get caught up. Make sure you get your copy and make sure that that you double check that you're not pending a suspension. Florida happens to be 2-3 weeks behind or something crazy like that. So make sure you're paying attention. If you're from out of state, double check the same as double check it as well for yourself, because it's going across the board. However, every state moves a little bit different, some slower than other. All right. So Melvin's unloading in Tennessee, hoping for a good dispatch to start this week. So here we go. Prime time. I know John's out there working on that. So you're good to go. But here we go, guys. Paying attention to these little things will impact your business. So guys, stay ahead of it all, and that's what you want. So even in that 25%, when we get to that, you want that team to help push things forward for you, paying attention to the small details that you may have overlooked because you're busy up on the road and working it. So that's what you should be scouting for. Safety and compliance is a major part of your operation. Your PSP depends on it. The company CSA score depends on it. So although that doesn't get talked to a lot, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but at the end of the day, your PSP does matter. You want to make sure that you're doing everything legally, so you don't want to end up in a tight spot where all of a sudden your PSP is so extensive that you're no longer marketable. So don't fall into that trap, guys. Be very cautious of those carriers that are asking, you just got to call in and get additional hours and then you can make your deliveries and all of that. All that sounds great until something happens. And then, we talk about that all the time. Everything is a myth because it's never happened to you. But guys, we see it. We see it across the board. Don't get caught up in those situations. So again, if you're looking for quality partners that can help the bottom line and do correct business, give us a call at 863-342-5171. Please like, share, subscribe. We talk trucking content, and at the same time, guys, we gather questions from all our social media platform, compile it, make a list, and go through them every morning at 9 a.m. So please get your comments in so we can answer these questions as well. All right. Make sure you smash that like button. Remember, nobody's paying us for this stuff, so it's going to help the algorithm push this thing forward and get in front of the right people. All right, any more questions? What do I got here? Yep. So for those who also do not know and you're planning your orientations accordingly, you probably want to always make sure you get it done on a Monday or a Friday. Just understand that kind of cutting it midweek can be a little bit problematic on what your settlement is going to look like. And again, it just depends if you're going from one carrier to another is a one scenario. If you're actually just bought a truck and you're getting it out of the dealer, then you want to hit the ground running because, time is money, and actually that payment is going to come due. As a matter of fact, when we reviewed all the questions from SFI on Friday, that's what they were gunning for. They wanted that, the questions were geared around that. How quick is this person going to get started? It's, crazy thing, man. I have seen people buy a truck and that bad boy was sitting for 2-3 weeks before they actually got plated, before all of that stuff happened. So be careful with that delay. Educate yourself, ask the right questions ahead of time before you're actually picking up this truck. Know what you're going to do with the plate program or how you're going to get plated. You should already be knowing about the insurance. So, all 2290s and all of that. So you want to have your game plan written out so that no delays happen while you actually have the truck. Because once you roll off that lot, it is game time. Grand opening, your business just started. So you want to come out the gate very, very fast and very, very strong. So all that comes down to planning. All right, guys. So if you need a plan or you're working on your plan and have some questions, 863-342-5171. We're here to answer them and work with you. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what kind of questions you may have, especially if you're an owner operator to be. You might be confused about something. Let us know. All right, here we go, guys. So I wonder, anybody out there picking up their truck this week from a dealer or anything? I'm interested to see that. Because the steps are going to get plated. Just because I had a conversation on Friday with an individual, the process is going to be the same whether you're doing a purchase from like a dealer or at least a purchase, from a third party vendor. To get plated, it's possible to get your own plates in both scenarios. Just a little adaptation to that, but nothing out of this world. We'll walk you through something like that. So if you're confused about that, guys, 863-342-5171. Give us a call directly. That way you can know your full options in that. Some lease to purchase guys will offer you the plate. That's another option, and so forth. And don't forget about the IFTA. Remember the record keeping agreement. I know that was a question on Friday. You got to get that bad boy notarized. What I say is just do it in front of them. That's the easiest way to do it. Who's ever processing your plate. That way, if there's any kind of questions, it's hammered out right there on the spot. Some people go to the bank. One thing we learned, when you go to the bank, that teller may be asking for something different as to what the state needs, and so then you have a confusion, and you got something notarized that's going to be that's no good anyway. So just get it notarized as you're getting your plate processed. They'll do it in front of you right there. So they're already notary. $10 more or something like that. So no big deal. So here you go on that. So that's just a tip. All right, guys. So it's that time. Got to go help out in this orientation. So, got to go to my day job. My people, be safe, drive safe, stay the course, stay trucking. If there's no comments, further questions. All right. So remember, Monday to Friday, we come here live every single morning. Please join us on the next one. And if you do, bring some questions so that we can address them live. Every 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. And if you're not subscribed already, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that like, smash that like, as a matter of fact, and hit the bell icon. It keeps the content going. All right, my people, be good, drive safe. See you next time.